Hey, this is Teddy, and you are listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, episode number 262. Tonight, we're talking about Night of Something Strange. I'm one of your co-hosts. We have Todd, we have Steve, we have Joe. Boys, how are we?
Hello, everyone.
I'm doing good. Joe's doing little finger things, which
Jazz
translates
jazz
very well
fingers.
on podcasts. I'm doing good. Just going through that fucking winter. January is a brutal month because there's no holiday to really look forward to anymore. So it's just cold and boring, and I can't wait to get out of this shit and go back into spring and winter, spring and summer. Sorry, because it sucks, but in good spirits. So that's all that counts, I guess, right?
Give me the cold. Give me the snow, baby. Let's get it. Joe, can you attest to this?
To a degree, I suppose. It gets old.
To you for an ally, and you fucked me over like that. Okay.
It gets old after a while. Sam loves the winter and the snow, so she's with you on that. You guys are like spirit animals for sure when it comes to that. Well, just in general, actually. I think she met the wrong guy. But
I was gonna say it, but you said it, so.
It's not the cold or the snow, it's the fucking driving, man. If I didn't have to drive anywhere, I'd be totally fine with it. But the second you put those wheels on that ice and that snow and the bad drivers and people who don't know how to drive in snow, it's a recipe for disaster.
I agree.
Well, you lived in California, Todd. What's the difference, I guess? You prefer the cold over it being, because the winters aren't that bad, right? They're 70s,
no,
right?
The winter, there's no such thing as winter in California. It'll snow. I lived there for 22 years or something like that, and I had snow maybe twice ever. And it was like a little patch, everyone fucking freaked out, went to the fucking hills and started throwing little snowballs that were half mixed with rocks and things like that. But no, I'm not a California guy. I know, Steve, you saw Palm Springs, which is a resort town. Don't think that's real California. No, it's too fucking, I hate being hot, dude. Period. Ugh. And then to have a winter where it's 70, 80, just like in freaking Texas, it's this is not winter. I need snow. I need cold. I need my nips to get hard when I walk outside. I don't want to do yard work year round because the yard, goes dormant in the winter. So no, give me the cold. I'll take it any day over the heat.
All right. Well, I don't want to wait until news next week. So I'm sure you guys both watched it. Scream trailer, the big we did the teaser trailer a few weeks ago, but they released the full trailer. Let's hear your thoughts.
It looks good, I think. It looks different, which is something I'm really digging. It has the obsessed fan kind of thing that was a Jigsaw did, which I really liked. I like that whole concept. Now, where they got all that stuff, questionable. I saw a breakdown video of all the stuff in that room, and I don't know, some of that seems far-fetched to have acquired. But anyway, looks good. I'm definitely going in with lower expectations than I did for the last time because I'm very disappointed with are we calling it Scream 5 now? Is this the thing? Is Scream 4 Scream and now Scream 6? Did we just fucking call it Scream 5? It's ridiculous, this title shit. But anyway, so Scream 6. I'll go see it. I mean, obviously it's Scream, right? That's just the way I am, but it looks good so far.
Yeah, we're all gonna see it, long story short. But man, I was really into the trailer, dude. Ghostface walking in the convenience store and just blasting dudes with shotguns. I'm like, dang. And then the whole subway sequence, has the ability or whatever, or the chance to be a fucking cool ass scene, with all, lights going out and all that stuff, and everyone's partying on Halloween. I'm into it. But then again, I'm still apprehensive because the last Scream I thought was just, missed the mark. You got to kill off a lot of these characters. There's no reason to have all these characters survived, especially from the last one. You got the twins, you got these random people. It's no, kill some of them off, please. And also, kill Gil. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm actually more excited for this one. And shockingly, it's because Neve Campbell isn't in it. I think the last movie suffered greatly because they tried to force those legacy characters into the movie. And it was just didn't really work all that well. Whereas now they can just focus on these new characters and try to harbor in the new generation of Scream. And I'm hoping it's for the better. And I think the change to New York City should make things a little more interesting and more fun. And you bringing in a lot of good cast. You're bringing in Samara Weaving, and you're bringing in. I mean, I know Kirby's back. I don't really care so much about that. But you're also bringing in. I know the kid from Servant. I don't know the actor's name, but he's like a really good actor on Servant, which new season just came out. So I'll talk about it on Well Watched, I guess. But I like the new cast they're bringing in. The new kids, hit or miss, but I think the trailer looked good, so we'll see. I think it is going to be better than the last one, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess we will see. One question for you guys about Scream that I was thinking about. Do you think the movie is kind of stuck in a box where they have to have a secret killer every single movie? Or do you think it could work if they revealed the killer in the first 15 minutes and just did it differently? Like I was thinking, for example, Joker, right? The new Joker that came out with Joaquin Phoenix. Like, he's Joker, you're following this character, but that didn't make him any less freaky. And there are scenes on the subway, ironically, in Joker, where a ton of people are wearing Joker masks and he blends into them, where you could have a totally different dynamic of a bunch of people as Ghostface, kind of people who are also obsessed with that character, but you have one main killer and he or she, I guess, blends in to the crowd. Because I feel that because they're always having to do that kind of secret reveal, it kind of hurts it a little bit, because that's all people think about is who's Ghostface. And it'd be nice for once to just do, this is Ghostface, and maybe put a twist at the end where there's another one or whatever the case may be, but at least present it differently.
Yeah, well, I think Joker works because it's Joker, so whereas I don't know, I'm trying to think of a horror movie that's worked where they've revealed the killer super early,
Jason,
in
Michael.
a slasher. Yeah,
all of them,
I mean,
Freddy.
No, but I guess, but that's just not Scream's thing. I don't know. I just don't think it would work for Scream.
I think it might work, and the reason why is because I think it's kind of like beating a dead horse. Last movie, a big aspect of why I didn't like it was that particular scene with Randy's sister, and they bring every cast member to the house, and the killer could be one of us in this very room, and it just gets really corny after a while. Yeah, it's the same recipe, and I think it could definitely work. I don't think they're going to go that route with this one, but maybe if they want to spice it up in the future, I think that'd be a possibility. But do you guys think the killer has to be Samara Weaving, because she's got that crazy look already? So what do you think?
The theory is she'll either be the killer or the first one killed, and I'm not sure which of the two would be better. A lot of people think Kirby will be the killer. So we'll
no
see. I mean, Stu?
That'd be stupid.
Stu?
No, Stu confirmed dead. They came out and said that
confirmed dead.
I didn't even see that part where they confirmed that.
I think Kevin Williamson in an interview recently confirmed that he was dead, but that don't mean shit, like Steve said.
No, it doesn't mean a fucking thing.
But I think Stu, no, don't bring Stu back. I mean, we brought back Ghost Billy, and I'm sure he'll be back in Scream 6 too. You want Stu to come back?
I want Stu to come back, but I want it to be in a smart, realistic way where they literally go talk to him in prison and he's all fucked up, because he got his head smashed into the TV. If they're going to bring him back in a realistic manner where Gail's doing an investigative piece or something and goes the original Ghostface killer and, talks to him, I think that'd be sick, but don't have him out of prison running around or anything like that.
Running around setting up Scream 7 with Nev Campbell.
Well, I mean, they would know if he survived. People would know, right? You can't really I don't know. Maybe not. I guess
but
you go.
They never talked about it though in the film, though. It was they never talked about the killers when they were dead either, right? Except for probably Billy.
Yeah, I mean, Nev said that he was dead, but I mean,
she did say that.
But then she might. Was
but
mistaken.
Hey, it's canon. He was in part 2 at the party.
He was.
Let's do it.
All right, Stu, coming back.
Yeah, confirmed on the.
I just want to see a Mythbusters where they throw a TV on someone's head to see if you could survive that or not.
You totally could.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean CRTs
Those
are
TVs
heavy,
are
but
pretty fucking heavy.
it didn't fall from fucking 10 feet. It fell from like 1.5 feet off of.
Well,
a
he also
thing.
got electrocuted too.
So do you probably at work every day, fucking putting light bulbs in there. So you're fine.
Yeah, I don't even know if you could get electrocuted like that either, because like I don't even know like what would be conductive. Like, I guess he was wearing a chain or something. I don't know.
I don't. Let's, all right, we'll do.
Moving on.
Let's move on to questions here. So you can ask us those questions on social media at the Horror Squad Podcast, or of course on our Discord. Speaking of which, we have our movie night on the day this episode releases, which is on the Friday, and we will be watching, hopefully, if it works. It seemed to work, but just I never want to promise anymore. The Greasy Strangler, which is a hell of a movie. Actually reminds me a little bit of the one we're watching tonight, Night of Something Strange. And actually, it's because of these movie clubs that I discovered this movie, Night of Something Strange, and then made these two guys watch it because I thought it was fun. It could be a fun one to discuss. So let's get into the questions. The first one are audio questions from our boy Chuck. Chuck, what is your first question?
Hey, Horror Squad, Chuck here with a few questions. What is your favorite way a movie has created zombies, like a virus, chemicals, etc.?
Oh, Return of the Living Dead, man. Trioxin. Like they burn the body and then it goes up into the sky and then it rains and it brings it back down to the cemetery. It's a fucking awesome sequence.
Yeah, that's pretty perfect. I love that. Yeah, that probably is the best way. I mean, I love 28 Days Later, but that's a pretty basic way to bring zombies into it. So yeah, I think Todd's right.
There's also controversy about 28 Days Later with like how much of the blood do you need to actually get infected, and
Just one drop, man. The dad got one drop in his eye.
Yeah,
I guess that's why they didn't do the alternate ending, which I'm sure you've seen, Steve, where Jim does a blood transfusion.
right. Yeah, that's
Yeah. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. You know, as simple as it is, I always liked the way it was done in The Walking Dead, where everyone is already infected. So it didn't matter how you died, you still get resurrected, which made just the threat always there. You know, it wasn't just getting bit. It was, you had to basically die and not get your head smashed in, and you will come back as a zombie. And it made for very interesting scenes. So I always liked that way of the zombie apocalypse happening, I guess. But on the flip side, I also like not getting an explanation as to what happened. You know, they don't explain in Night of the Living Dead, they don't explain Dawn of the Dead, and it's totally fine. You don't need to have, you know, just accept zombies are out, you're fighting them. That's just the way it is. Chuck, what is your second question?
If you could create a new type of zombie, what would it be like?
I feel like everything's been done at this point. You know, we get sex crazed zombies. We have the running zombies. You got, I mean, what's left?
You got zombies.
Zombies. That's right.
Not to mention all the variants in video games like
Yes.
loaders and tickers and all that.
Someone like randomly messaged Sam recently and
About
talked about
zombies.
how we reviewed zombies on YouTube like 8 years ago. Like everyone got together and we did it. And I was like, wow, what a throwback.
It's a deep cut.
Yeah, super deep cut.
I don't know, man. Just butthole zombies. I don't know what it is, but it's butthole zombies.
Rectuma.
See, it's already been done. The Simpsons did it. Damn it.
You know what? There probably is a movie like this, but I'd like to see like a kind of a drama movie about zombies where everyone comes back to life, but they're not dangerous. They're just kind of there and still decomposing, you know, kind of like zombies do. How would people feel about their loved ones? No, but not really. Like they're not, you know, they're still like family members, and there's no bad ones. You know, it's just people just come back to life, but kind of mindless and decomposing. Like how far would a family go to still keep their loved ones in that condition? You know, it's because they always say they care, but at what point do they be like, I don't want to deal with this anymore? It's just like a mindless person walking around the house. And I'd be curious on the cultural and like political and all that impact of having someone perpetually moving around, and you know, religious reasons. Like, do you put them down? Do you keep them? there'd be so many interesting questions I think that could raise. I'd like to see that. So if there is that movie, please let me know, because I'd like to watch something like that.
I would like to see amusement park zombies where like Mickey, Minnie, Mr. Six from the Six Flags commercials, they all are zombified and they're coming after the
the old
pictures of the
man?
park. Yeah.
Don't do it. No.
That's hilarious. All right. And Chuck, what is your last question?
Last question. What's the dumbest way you've seen zombies created in a movie? Thanks, guys. Look forward to the episode. Have a good one.
I mean, this one's up there.
Yeah, you know,
But it's funny dumb.
yeah. This is eerily similar to one that I watched on VHS called The Rot. And same thing, like they had sex with a cadaver and you get STD/zombie. I guess if you're thinking of like a true character motivation, having sex with a corpse is obviously wrong for numerous ways. So getting affected that way is pretty fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this one probably takes the cake in this department. It's dumb, but it's funny. You know, it works for this movie, but it's definitely kind of a weird way to spread the virus.
I wonder if it's ever been in a mainstream.
Not far
zombie
fetched
movie.
though. If people do it.
I know. I wonder if a zombie movie's ever done that though, where they capture like a female zombie. Well, I guess Dead Girl, but that's kind of different. Which is a good movie.
Yeah. I mean, she's a zombie, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Chuck, for the questions. We are move on to your geeky neighbor. What do y'all think of this director for a remake of the film Troll 2? Or what franchise would suit his wild style of films?
Has this director done anything else? I didn't really look him up after watching this, but
Not sure.
none of us have. All right.
Oh,
I figured you guys did. Would he? Yeah, he'd be great for like a Troll 2. Actually, the first Troll is not as like goofy as I think everyone like tries to pigeonhole Troll and Troll 2 together, but Troll is actually like it's like fantasy, but it's pretty like serious. It's definitely not as goofy as Troll 2 is. So I think he would be more perfect for Troll 2. With that being said, I would love to see a Troll remake. I think there's a lot of like good stuff in there. Now, I don't know if you could do it now since the main character is called Harry Potter. And I mean, who stole from who, really? I mean,
right.
look
Damn
at
right.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. This director's done nothing, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did Johnny Z.
What the fuck is that?
Exactly. A 90-minute film. Action horror. But yeah, give him some trauma money. Throw some trauma shit his way and let him go wild with it.
I think this movie was trauma money.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe more.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see him do more original stuff. You know, I never want to see necessarily these people to make remakes. You know, if he has ideas like this, I'd like to see what else he'd come up with, because there's some crazy shit in this one. That's for damn sure. It's a crazy movie. So thank you, Joseph, for the question. Moving on now. Our next question are from Lil 3-Chord Me. Who is someone you hope to never see in a horror movie?
I'm down for anyone, whatever, you know, like I've been wrong before, not wanting to see people in certain movies. So bring them all. Kim Kardashian in a horror movie. Let's do it.
I don't know. Any political person that wants to get in with the youth by being cool and getting in the movie. Let's not do that.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a politician in a horror movie.
I mean, I watched Trump versus the Illuminati, so.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't count.
Oh my god, I can't believe you watched that. After you watched that fucking clown movie, you had to watch the other one.
Giggles the Clown. I was curious. I was curious to see what kind of thing it was. Actually, that director, that's pretty much all he does is now Trump, like, fantasy movies. It's super weird. Yeah, there's nobody either. I'm pretty open to anyone being in a horror other than people who are like true pieces of shit, you know, like Salva and all that, like people like that who abuse their position of power and do really bad shit. I don't want to see them in anything, period. But outside of like real world stuff, no, I'd give everyone a shot. You know, anyone could surprise me. Paris Hilton was fine in House of Wax. You know, it's the way it is. I think give people a shot and see what they do with it.
Yeah, like you guys watched Ron Jeremy in the doll,
That's
which
right.
is your punishment movie. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on in our What Watch in a special bonus.
Can't
What
wait.
Watch. Yeah. Her next question and last question. Also, when is Chuck going to do a guest spot on this podcast?
we'll see.
Yeah, TBD. So stay tuned. Thank you for the questions. Moving on to Eric. If you could haunt one item for eternity after you die, what would your item be? I'd haunt a Squishmallow because they're so innocent looking.
Hell's that?
It's it's like those kind of big fluffy teddy bear things, but they're like fluffier than usual. They
Yeah.
sound like Costco and stuff.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
you get like a dog would get on it and wipe his asshole juice on it, and then you you end up in the dump for the rest of your eternity. So it's kind of like
That's
a
a
bad.
good point.
I'm haunting a fucking Statue of Liberty, dude. It's not going anywhere. And then people go to it, and you're permanently gonna be like a fixture, and you can just like, I don't know, woo, when people are walking up to you and stuff.
Was it did he ask for a toy or just any object?
He just said an item.
An item. Oh, yeah, that's perfect then, Todd. Whew. I mean, you can get dirty with this if you really want, I guess. But
Haunted dildo.
yeah. But I guess I would say, I don't know. Yeah, I'll go with that because I can't think of anything better.
It's a haunted dildo or Statue of
Yeah.
Liberty? Oh,
Yeah.
dildo.
Butt plug.
Oh. Then you get both both ends. So
Yeah.
I'd haunt like a doom buggy at Disney World. I'd just hang out and scare people and be that thousandth ghost that they're always looking for. Yeah, so
Top 10 ghosts at Disney.
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah. That'd be so awesome. Just my face popping up between two people and the doom
But
buggy.
you're really nice. Hey, how are you?
Yeah, exactly.
How you doing?
Yeah. Be the friendly ghost. The next question. With Cocaine Bear coming out this year, what other under the influence animal movies would you like to see made? I'm thinking methed out honey badger.
Nice.
Remember
This
the
is
crack-
definitely.
Remember the
No, go
cracked
for
out remember the cracked out tails from the Sonic movie that someone put a meme out?
Yeah.
I just imagine cracked out tails is fucking down on his luck. Going crazy.
I mean, this is definitely going to be a trend. I'm sure. Like that company that makes all the spoof movies is definitely going to do something with Cocaine Bear. I'm good. I don't want to see any more after Cocaine Bear. I don't think.
You don't want to see Meth Shark?
No, not really.
That's
I
got to be a thing that's going to happen within the next 5 years.
I don't even,
Guaranteed.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to see Cocaine Bear. Like it just, it looks all right, I guess. But it's like not even remotely based on the actual story. So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. For me, let's see. What kind of animal would I like to see? I'd like to see just like cocaine sloth. They're so slow, and then all of a sudden they just go fucking apeshit and absolutely go wild on people, and I think that'd be hilarious.
PCP penguin.
But yeah,
Just breaking shit, unstoppable.
that'd be so awesome. Yeah, so really any animal, it would be hilarious. But I am sure if this is successful, holy shit, we're gonna see every animal under the sun under the influence.
I don't think there's any doubt that this is gonna be successful. I think it's gonna be highly successful just because of how outrageous the plot is. I think a ton of people are gonna go see this.
I want this to be the movie that unseats Avatar. just so it's in the history books that
Wow.
Cocaine Bear.
Here in Salem, Megan unseated Avatar.
I saw that at but
Yeah,
I
at
think they
Cinema
pushed for
Salem.
it on social media, right? Because
They did,
they're like,
yeah.
they're like only 3 tickets left for Megan, and it passes Avatar, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So our last series of questions here are from Oddjob versus 007. With these zombies attacking, talking about the ones from the movie tonight, who gets it first? I think me, to be honest with you. I'm the fattest, so which makes me the slowest, which makes me the highest probability of getting killed.
No.
Yeah, but you're not like eating random ass in hotel rooms either, so you got that going for you, which we'll cover later.
Yeah. You're not thinking two testicles or 2 clits. So
Oh my god. The peanuts and the asshole and oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, we're in for
Oh,
quite the
man.
review tonight.
Yes.
When I saw this, my first thought was, "Holy fuck, we got to review this."
Ugh,
But we'll get to
I
that.
get. Well, whoever's going first is probably the horniest. So
That's
I don't know.
Joseph then.
Yeah.
Take your
yeah.
pick.
Yeah, Joseph's the
Yeah,
horniest.
yeah, for sure. Second question was, who makes the best of this type of zombie out of us? I also
guess
think
me.
it's Joe. Yeah.
Horny zombie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guess
yeah.
me. Sure.
Just no raping because that's a little too far.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah. And his last question, do any of you survive?
No, the whole world's
no.
fucked, isn't it? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I would, produce some great acid semen though. So
Yeah, you get at least we got to outlast stupid.
people who haven't seen the movie yet now are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" People who are just listening before, like who haven't watched the movie. I know a lot of people do that. They'll listen to half the review, and now they're gonna be like, "Whoa, I gotta watch this movie."
Oh, and that is just the tip of the
It is.
iceberg with this fucking
is.
movie. So stay tuned for that. So thank you everyone for the questions. We can't do this segment without you, and I'm sure they're thrilled about this. But here's a little ad from our very good sponsors. We really like them for sponsoring us and providing warmth and all that stuff in cold ass winters like this. So here it is, Deadly Grounds Coffee.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds Coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds Coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Well, watch.
All right. I'll go first. All right, my first up is a 1995 Jacko starring Linnea Quigley and others. This one is set on Halloween night, and there's a local legend where a jack-o'-lantern man was killed a couple hundred years ago, and of course he did like a death curse, and for whatever reason it's hard to follow. He's back on Halloween night to kill everybody. I don't even know, like this is like a very low budget movie that has a overly complicated plot with like it has flashbacks to like the 1800s or whatever the fuck's going on. Then this character from 1800s is linked to this character from 1995 or whatever it is. Linnea Quigley, my god, she is smoking hot in this, man. Oof, watch her for that alone. And of course the moment we see here is completely out of the blue. 1 second they're like all talking about like whatever the plot is, and then a fucking hard cut to Linnea just naked in the shower. I'm like, whoa, I'm not complaining, but this is a weird transition. I like the killer a lot. It did a good job of like capturing the ultra low budget shot on video type of movie from the 90s, which I like. Is this something you need to seek out and spend a bunch of money on? No. But if you like Linnea Quigley and you like weirdo slashers, then I would recommend this one. So that's Jacko, 1995.
Just lovely, Todd. Thank you. All right, my first one tonight is a Peacock exclusive 2023 release called Sick. This one actually written by Kevin Williamson from Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer fame. So Sick is about these two friends who we're in the height of the pandemic. Who wants to go back there? But this movie did, apparently. So we were in the height of the pandemic. These two friends decide, let's get away. We're going to go up to my cabin in the woods where there's no one around, and we can just kind of lay low there. And when they get there, there's a home invasion, essentially. There is someone lurking around trying to kill these girls. And that's, basically it. I mean, obviously there's reasons why these killers are there and whatnot, but you're going to have to watch the movie to find that out.
Use your big word, Joe, from your review.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
So this movie actually started pretty well. I mean, the pandemic thing is, tired at this point. I don't think anyone wants to go back there. I don't think it's really a good plot, point for any type of movie these days. But, it started well because it was kind of a reason to get to the house. And then it's kind of talked about here and there, but it's more focused on the cat and mouse game of these girls trying to get away from the killer. And then, you get to the reveal, and I thought it was, as Todd wanted me to use my big word, preposterous. I just did not. I thought it was just outrageous, the motive of the killer. I really, really hated it. It completely took me out of the movie. With that being said, though, it picked back up like after that. Like I was like completely checked out, but then it like started getting better again. But I still cannot recommend this because of like the motive of the killer. I just thought it was so dumb, so just outrageous that I just did not believe the like that they went that route. So I think it's like still a decent one-time watch, especially if you're into like home invasion movies. But yeah, I mean, I gave it 2.5 out of 5 over on Letterboxd. So decent one-time watch, but nothing memorable.
Was the reason the killer was killing because A, they didn't want to wear a mask, or B, they yelled at him for not wearing a mask? Because that'd be ridiculous.
It's even worse, honestly.
Oh, really? Jeez.
I think.
Real quick, I think pandemic movies are going to be really quote unquote cool in like 20 years. But since we all just lived through it, it's like, I really don't want to fucking talk about masks and social distancing and all that shit again.
Yeah, it's like making Saving Private Ryan in 1947. You know, like people just don't want to fucking see it.
Seriously.
So my first one this week is a movie I watched over on Tubi, and it's called Evil Toons from 1992. So this one stars David Carradine and Dick Miller and a bunch of porn stars. So the story of this one is very simple. A group of cleaning women are hired to go through like to clean a haunted house, but they somehow have to stay like the whole weekend to do so for whatever reason. It's apparently that bad of a clean job in there. So they go in there and they start cleaning, and all of a sudden a mysterious delivery man comes to the door with a book that has a bunch of spells in it, a little bit like Necronomicon. So you can imagine where this is going. And sure enough, you know, they finish their cleaning for the night and they all get around. They start, like, of course, you know, as girls do, take their tops off and start dancing, and you know how it is. And then someone reads a page from this book, which releases a demon cartoon character that starts attacking the women and possessing some of the women, and then they're killed off pretty much one at a time. Them, the neighbors, you know, that kind of stuff. Nothing too crazy. And that's basically the plot of the story as they try to stop this demon from killing and to save themselves from this demon. This is a ridiculous plot. It makes no sense. But so even though it's 1992, it really feels like an 80s movie. And it's a type of movie that if you're a horror fan of the 80s, I think you'll enjoy this. You know, it's really simple. There are decent kills. There are a lot of breasts. There's Dick Miller. I mean, what are we to complain about? That's what we want to see in a movie of that era. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie. I'd never even heard of it before, but it was leaving soon on Tubi. So I'm like, okay, I'll see what this is all about. And I was really pleasantly surprised. So if you're looking for a kind of obscure, you know, early 90s, but more 80s feeling film, I would recommend this one. So that's Evil Toons over on Tubi.
Very cool. My last one before we talk about our punch and film is a horror world tour that I've been trying to do for the last year or so. And this one is checking off the box of Estonia. And it's called Dearest Sister over on Shudder. And basically it's a movie where like there's a girl that lives in poverty, and she is sent to her rich aunt's or cousin's house or whatever to kind of be her companion because she is blind and she's really well off too. She's married to a rich Estonian businessman, and he wants her to have company. So blah, blah, blah. They get a family member. But the blind lady, since her senses are so sharp or whatever, she starts being able to see only ghostly figures. And they think it's like a mental health issue, so they don't know what's going on, things like that. And the ghosts tell her lottery numbers. So the girl that came over to be friends with her takes the numbers that this girl keeps muttering and starts winning the lottery every single time. So it opens up a whole can of worms because like the housekeeper thinks she's above the friend, but since the friend has money now, she thinks it's being stolen from the mistress of the house and all this shit. There's a subplot with the man. He's like a fucking piece of shit, and he's like cutting corners on construction, stuff like that. So it is more of like a social commentary movie where you have like the class divide between like the quote unquote the help and the rich people. And then you have, this must be like specific to this country, it's filmed in Cambodia, where like it happens quite a bit. A lot of the girls are like, you should dump your native boyfriend, you know, fellow Cambodian, and go get a white man. They'll buy you stuff and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of the movie is about dating white men, which is like a huge plot point, which it must, like I said, be a local thing. And then it comes back to, oh yeah, we're a horror movie, and it starts showing glimpses of ghosts and stuff like that. So unfortunately, it was mostly a miss. I did like seeing other countries and some of their things that go on there, but it wasn't enough horror because, like I said, it was more of like a cast slash social commentary film. So that's Dearest Sister on Shudder.
That must be the American equivalent would be women dating old men for them to buy them stuff, right? So,
yeah, it happened. It was like a plot point, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
cool.
Alrighty. Really quickly, I have two really quick ones. Servant just started up, new season, last season, 2 episodes so far. Really enjoying it. I can't recommend that show enough. I think a lot of people haven't seen it. If you have Apple Plus, I definitely recommend checking it out. And once the season ends, I'll do a whole series recap in my What Watched. All right, and my last movie for tonight is a 2023 release. Just released last week on VOD. You can pick it up for a $6.99 rental currently. It is called There's Something Wrong with the Children. This is a Blumhouse release. This movie is about a couple with their 2 children go on a sort of, I guess, vacation, you want to call it, a sort of a camping trip, I guess, with another couple who don't have children. They end up going on a hike into the woods where they come across sort of this abandoned building. They go inside the building and they find a hole in the ground. When they look down, the 2 children say, they kind of start acting weird, and they say, do you, look at the lights and stuff like that. Obviously, none of the adults see it, and they seem very interested by these lights. The parents end up asking this single couple, if they'll take the kids for the night. And they do. The kids end up going missing, and surprise, surprise, they end up back at this hole in the ground. The husband witnesses these kids falling into the hole. He thinks they're dead. He comes back. The kids are there. And weird stuff starts to happen from there. Is it supernatural? What happened to these kids? Were they, taken by a supernatural force? Is this all in his head? We don't know, and I'll leave it at that. This movie started really, really well. Like, I was digging the first hour of this movie a lot, and I was like, wow. I was like, this movie is definitely going to be a contender for top of the year if it continues to go the way it does. Unfortunately, the wheels started to fall off in the final act of this movie, the final about 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah, it was frustrating because I think it's really, really well acted, and it has like a really interesting story. But then it just goes places I really wasn't digging. And then it just ends like really abruptly. And we never get like a full kind of explanation of what's going on. And the explanation they do give seemed a little silly. So I still think it's worth a watch. I would give it a mild recommend. I think not something I would pay for, but when it hits streaming, or whatnot for free, I would definitely recommend giving it a one-time watch. I gave it a 3 and a 5 over on my Letterboxd. So yeah, a good one-time watch, but nothing that you need to rush out to go see.
Cool. So my last one, other than my punishment, this week is similar to Todd, where I'm doing the Letterboxd World Tour. But in my case, I was trying to get Paraguay off my list. So I watched a 2019 movie over on Tubi called Morgue. This one is about a young security guard, and he's the type of guy that he's not a security guard at one place. He works for a company where they send him to different places, and he hits somebody with his car. He does end up going to the place, and it ends up being a morgue that he has to watch over, which he didn't know. And he's first time there. He's a little bit freaked out. There's one dead body in the morgue, and that kind of makes him uncomfortable and stuff. But the other security guard that's there kind of brushed his off, it's not a big deal. Just fucking do your job and just watch the security cameras and you'll be fine. So that's what he does. It's a kind of a regular job and stuff like that. And meanwhile, he's fighting with his girlfriend, over text and phone and stuff like that. And at one point, he's trying to make up with her because of something that happened earlier in the film. And they're on FaceTime, and there's a naked girl that passes behind him, and the girl sees it, but he doesn't. And then she's mad at him. He's wondering why. and he starts investigating, and of course hauntings start happening, and that's where kind of the film picks up. It's basically a haunting story, similar to what was the movie that was in a basement?
Exorcism of, or
No, it's I don't remember.
the one with that. Gosh, Dan, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like another movie that's like in a morgue at night that there's hauntings happening, but anyway, it's escaping me now. But it reminded me a lot of that, but lower budget. So there's not much else to it. The scares are actually pretty fucking good. There are 2 scares in particular in this. I'm like, well done, well done. That is like, if I watched that as a kid, I'd be fucking having nightmares tonight, because they were like really, really well done, and I really like that. So there are definitely some great scares and stuff. It does drag at times because it is all within the confines of his like that morgue, so he doesn't really go out of the morgue much, and it's really him and sometimes one other character that pops in and out. It's a homeless man who's just trying to like take a piss somehow in the morgue, and he's trying to kind of get rid of him. But outside of that, still, if you're looking for a world tour and something out of Paraguay, I'd recommend this one. Outside of that, I wouldn't go out on my way to watch it or anything. But if you got some time to kill and you like kind of haunting movies, this is not a bad one. So Morgue 2019 over on Tubi.
I need Paraguay, so I added it. And I think the movie you're thinking about was Autopsy of Jane Doe.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
Joe, you're scaring everybody with your background. All right. The Doll.
Oh, yeah, The Doll.
2017. Steve and I lost fourth quarter trivia, and we were punished by Mr. Joe himself. I guess I'll get the synopsis and let you take over your thoughts, Steve. This really douchey guy lives with an equally douchey friend, and they're like in a little party house, right? They got like 5 hookers over one day. The less douchey friend has a girlfriend that breaks up with him because when she comes over, 2 of the strippers are dancing on him and kissing on him and stuff. And he's like, what did I do wrong? You stupid fuck. So he's all bummed out. He's tired. He's like, I don't want to live anymore because I fucking blah, blah, shut up. So his other douchey friend tells him, hey man, you should get a Russian mail order bride. They call them the Dolls. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do that. So they do the most complicated thing ever. They order a Russian mail order bride that happens to arrive like an hour later. So that's convenient, all the way from Russia. And it's stupid, man. So the movie is, and the reason they get the doll is because they want to make her jealous. That's apparently how you do things. And I hated it. Steve, what'd you think?
Yeah, I also did not like it. I just realized I put the wrong doll on my notes because I watched 2 movies called The Doll back to back because I knocked off Mongolia with another movie called The Doll. I was looking at the wrong one. But yeah, this one, I mean, it was bad. There's no getting around it. It stars a bunch of porn stars who probably have never done like a movie, like a non-porn movie before, and including Ron Jeremy, who makes a super random but short cameo, but somehow gets top billing in some of the marketing material that I saw for this movie. It's just such a basic kind of dumb plot. But I will say this, the doll looks pretty good. Like it's a human that's kind of playing a doll, but she's apparently a famous influencer, I guess you could say, where she like, I don't know, she gets plastic surgery and to make herself look like a doll. Like she's someone who's been featured on one of those like Strange Addiction type shows, where her whole life is to mimic being a doll. So she looks freaky because she doesn't look as human, I guess, as most people would. And there was a lot of potential with that character, I think. But the gist of it is just she just fucking sits there creepily and then kills people in ways that are not interesting at all. So there's nothing really interesting about this movie, and that's kind of the biggest problem, is it's boring as fuck because nothing happens. If they just made the doll a little bit more interesting and had better kills, this could have been kind of a decent indie film. But the way it stands, awful.
Yeah, 3 major problems. I'll start with the egg problem first that I know Steve liked from my Letterboxd review. There's a close-up, right, of him frying 2 eggs, sunny side up, a little runny yolk, things like that. Then it cuts right to him doing a scrambled whisk egg thing. Then he pours the fucking scrambled eggs on top of the frying eggs. I'm like, what kind of fucking eggs are you making? We're either doing fried eggs or we're doing scrambled eggs. And then the motivations of the movie, right? The main motivation is to order this bride to make his girlfriend jealous, right? The girlfriend shows up to the house, and what do? they hide the fucking doll so she never sees it until a convenient plot point, right? So wait, you're trying to make her jealous, but you hide the doll. How's that make sense? And then 2, you're hiring a doll to have sex with the doll, right? But they don't even attempt to do that. The first time the doll shows up, they're like, "Oh, I'm tired, bro. I need to go sleep. Where should we put her? Let's put her in the attic," which happens to have this whole elaborate bedroom setup. So yeah, this movie just fucking sucks. It could have been cool, but it wasn't. So thank you, Joe. Piece of shit.
You're welcome.
All right, trivia.
Trivia. All right. First quarter is as follows. We have Steve and Joe tied with first place with 5 points apiece. Myself with second/third place with 4 points. Any man's game. Who would like to lead off today?
I can lead us off tonight. Alrighty. Thank you, Kayla, for your trivia questions.
Kayla.
Yeah.
All right. And let's start off with your favorites, a tagline.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. Right when you said Kayla.
Yeah. A lot of taglines in that list.
And the tagline is winner kills all.
Winner kills all. Freddy versus Jason.
You are correct.
Oh,
Yay.
wow. That's a good one.
Sweet.
I was thinking more of a like battle royale type,
Yeah.
like this plot line in my head. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen Battle Royale.
Oh, fantastic. Have you seen the sequel?
No, it's on my list. Is it good?
It's pretty good. It's definitely not part 1, but it's still pretty good.
Cool. All right. You want to go?
Yep. Okay. And now, similar to before I get flacked on Discord for this, Steve asked a question that he needed a specific answer a couple shows ago, where I had to say, what was it?
Yeah.
Fucking the grape. Remember?
Yeah, it had to be
The exact thing.
the exact type of grape. No.
Okay. So I need the exact name.
Okay.
In Rectuma.
Oh.
Christ.
What's the name of the animal that infects the main guy's ass?
Oh, it's a horned frog. It's a horn. What is it? Horny or horned bullfrog?
Horny goat toad. Horny goat toad.
Yeah, I'm going with horned bullfrog or something.
Okay, both of you are incorrect. According to Letterbox, it is Mexican butt humping bullfrog.
Oh,
All right.
oh, the bullfrog, right? I was gonna, but yeah, no, that's. There's no way I was gonna retain stuff from that movie.
You watched it twice.
Yeah, that's enough. All right. So mine are all original this week. So my first one's a regular question. In the original Last House on the Left, what's the symbol on the necklace that plays a big part in the story?
Star of David.
Wrong.
Dang.
No, it's is it her name?
Wrong. You want one more
I
guess?
just know. I mean, I know. I think it was the mother gave her the necklace, right?
It's just a simple.
She
is
has
it
a necklace. Yeah.
Is it just a
Right.
cross?
Wrong. And one more guess, Joe.
Nah, I got none.
So it was a simple one. It was a peace sign.
Peace
Um,
sign.
It's the 70s, baby.
70s. Yeah. Krug, man. Krug is a piece of shit in that fucking movie, dude. Well,
Yeah.
they're all pieces of shit, but Krug is the worst.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
All righty. Back to me.
Mhm.
All right. Match the killer to the movie.
That's the movie we're guessing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The killer is Brenda Bates.
Scream 2.
Incorrect.
Fuck me, dude.
It is a 90s movie.
Bates.
Oh, what was I thinking? That's Billy's mom in part 2. Right?
Mrs. Loomis.
Yeah, damn,
Yeah.
I fucked up. I fucked up.
90s
What was her
movie.
name? So I can get a second go.
Brenda Bates.
Debbie Salt was her name in Scream 2. What'd you say, Steve?
Brenda Bates, you said?
Brenda Bates. Yes.
Oh,
90s
I think I
horror
have a
movie.
guess.
Is your guess.
90s horror movie.
Let's keep going.
Go-
I get it.
God, I can't even think of a like female killer that's
They're rare.
significant. So you go ahead, Todd. I don't.
You sure?
Yeah.
Is it Valentine?
Incorrect.
Oh, I thought I had it. Dang it.
I still don't have to guess.
It's a male killer in Valentine.
Oh, I'm thinking of that one fucking. She was in Santa's sleigh in the beginning of the movie. That
She
killer.
was.
Yeah. So I don't remember the name. Steve, dig deep.
She was in Silent
There was 3 of these fucking movies. What were the names of them?
Yeah.
It's just so annoying to me.
There might have been more than 3.
It's so annoying.
All right, you guys have had
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, we have enough
Alright.
time.
Dang it, dude.
All right. The correct answer is Urban Legend.
Urban Legend,
Oh,
yes.
man.
Gosh,
I haven't watched that since it's like theater run. So
Mm.
fucking Freddy Krueger. There's
We could review.
the backseat.
yeah, that'd be one to review one day. I think it's
Yeah.
been long
Yep.
enough.
You got Robert Englund, you got Brad Dourif, you got Daniel Harris. Quite a cast.
One of them was filming. I don't know which one. Not the first one for sure. Was filming at my college while I was attending.
Huh.
They filmed over the summer, so I wasn't there to see it. But I remember that they had just like broken down the set as I was starting my year. I think it was
cool.
like part 3 or 4. Like it was one of the later sequels.
All right, ready?
Yep.
In Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Oh.
How do Ricky and Jennifer meet?
Oh, car, like a bicycle accident in a car. Or
Yeah, motorcycle accident in a car,
motorcycle.
right?
Motorcycle
yeah, you got it.
accident, yeah.
Yeah.
He got it.
Motorcycle.
She
yeah.
hits him with the car.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then
And for all the
rides
things he
off.
got, for all the things he got mad about, he's cool with that.
Yeah, rides off with her, no problem. All
Yeah.
right, 4 clues.
Oh.
Convention, hotel, children, and mice.
The fuck?
Convention, hotel, children, and mice. Is this a horror movie?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So I was gonna guess The Witches, but
Yeah, that's horror. How's it not horror?
is it okay? Is it The
I mean,
Witches?
Yeah, it's the witches.
All right, nice. It's a kids movie more, but
The witches are pretty fucking scary, and they're
They are
attacking
yeah.
children and shit.
Yeah,
I'd say the remake isn't super horror, but the original I think was pretty horror.
yeah. The witch scene alone is horror.
Yeah, first horror I guess I ever saw in theater, because if you count it as a horror.
Intro to horror for sure.
Oh yeah,
Kids horror.
absolutely.
Mhm. All right, back to me. Last one. Alrighty. Let me grab this up. All right. In Child's Play 3, whose soul is Chucky trying to steal?
The little African American child.
Yes, I need his name. I need the character name.
I do
Dang it.
not remember whatsoever.
I don't remember his name at all.
I won't even venture a guess. Like
Danny.
Incorrect.
Dang it.
Winston.
No.
I have no idea.
Well, I'll let the Discord decide if Todd gets this
Oh, was it Daniel?
or not. But no, I mean the correct answer is Tyler.
No.
But I mean
Tyler.
Todd, he didn't know the character, I suppose, but
That's true. I did. Come on, people.
but I think
I
I was
gave
looking.
Steve his point back, people.
I was looking for the character name, but we'll see if the Discord thinks you were specific enough. I guess.
I'll put a possible one down there, but I won't add it to this.
All right.
What's your choice? It's your question. If it's
I mean, I personally wouldn't give it to you,
all right,
but
then I won't give it to you either. All right. In Halloween 2, I don't need the specific type, but if you get it, good on you. In Halloween 2, what does Jimmy say he's going to get Lori? Really?
Yeah.
it's been a while since
Me
The
too.
answer is oral sex.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. It's a fucking
nice.
it's a drink. He offers her a Coke or something like that.
Yeah. I watched 1 and then 3 and then like always skip 2 for some reason. And 2's
Yeah.
good, so I should just watch it this Halloween.
A lot of people hate on 2, but yeah, I always liked it too.
It grew on me.
Tarantino, big part 2 hater.
Yeah.
I read that recently. He
That's
came out and
hilarious.
said it.
All right. Last one of the night. This is going to be a guess the movie based off its IMDb trivia.
Okay.
Okay. There are 4, different answers, so you have to guess it within these 4.
Okay.
Stephen King was briefly approached to write the screenplay. It would have been the first written by King directly for the screen, but the parties could not agree on the terms.
Okay.
Oliver Robbins is the only surviving child actor of this film that played a member of the main cast.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. When Diane attempts to flush the dead pet bird, it casts a shadow.
Poltergeist.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
So he's the only
cursed
kid
Poltergeist.
who survived that movie.
That's
crazy,
great.
man.
Yeah.
And my last one was Poltergeist. Well, I would have said what this movie is German for noisy ghost, which is
Okay.
Poltergeist.
What was the rest of the bird one? Did you say cast a
It makes
shadow?
a shadow of a shark to reference Jaws. It was like a Jaws reference.
Oh,
for
cool.
Steven Spielberg.
Nice.
All right, scores for the night. Joe is commanding first with 7, Steve 6, myself 5 for that
wouldn't call
week
that
number
commanding.
3.
Nice.
Well, I mean, you're ahead.
1 point lead.
Fine, I'm trying to pump you up. Jeez.
Thank you.
Let me pull up this letterbox thingy.
Oh yeah.
All right,
ready.
2016's Night of Something Strange, directed by Jonathan Stratton. Don't forget your rubbers and bazooka. 5 teenage friends set out for the beach on their spring break vacation. Good times are cut short when one of the group, Carrie, contracts a deadly sexual transmitted disease during a bathroom stop. When they stop for the night at an isolated motel, the real terror begins when the STD virus starts running rampant, turning those infected into the living dead. Oh boy, this movie starts off. Well, first of all, I followed Steve's advice. Don't look up trailers, read anything about it, nothing. So I turned it on Tubi and went from there. And gosh, this movie starts right away. This gentleman, we'll call him, works security or janitorial at a morgue, and there's a female naked corpse on the slab there, and he climbs aboard and rapes her body. Cut to a scene where now this gentleman has like severe penis pain. He's holding his crotch, he's screaming, all that stuff. His wife or girlfriend, somebody, I don't know, comes in the room and he rapes another person. That's his mom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that his mom?
It's his
I thought
mom.
that wasn't really specified.
No, it's his mom.
Jeez,
Okay.
that just made it that much worse. So we start off with a rape.
She was making him sausages too.
Yeah, we start off with a rape and we come right back to raping. So there's double rapes in the span of 5 minutes in this film. Gosh, I did not know that was his mom. That's so fucking weird. Yeah. So lo and behold, then we're introduced to some characters like high school kids, and they're gonna go party and stuff. Typical, you got like the quote unquote cool one who's a dick. You have the chubby one who gets picked on all the time, who also has a sexual crush on his cousin, which they do not hide. This is a plot point in this film. We have a couple girls. We have the African American gentleman who's the drug guy. He's got the weed for everybody. That's why he's going on the trip. And everyone is a stereotype in this film. Every character plays to their weaknesses. It's very strange. It's all about sex. It's all about blood. There's a lot of rape in this one, from traditional, I hate to say that word, but sexual intercourse rape to licking buttholes rape and everything in between. So it's very sexually depraved, this film. Did I like it? Yes. Is it a great movie? No. But it is fucking wild, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I went the same way as Todd. I had no idea what I was getting into here. I was honestly, the only thing I saw was the poster. And based off that, I was expecting a Lovecraftian style horror movie. And I didn't get that at all. This is not going to be everyone's cup of tea for sure, because of obviously the very sexual stuff in it. I will say it's not handled seriously though. Like, this movie it's a bad movie, but it's a good bad movie. I in my Letterboxd review, I compared it to a Troma movie, and it's very much in the same vein as that. So yeah, I mean, honestly, when it started, I was like kind of cursing out Steve, because I was like, oh my God, because the fucking acting is terrible in it, and it was just so low budget, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But then it gets like really ridiculous and good and funny and good. So I was like, okay, well, this is why Steve obviously picked it. So I had a fun time with it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a better movie to watch in a group type of setting, I would say. I mean, I still had a good time alone watching it. I got some
grandparents.
I got some chuckles out of it, but I think this is definitely the perfect movie to sit down, have some at a party or having beers with friends, and kind of turn it on and kind of laugh at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that might be one of the reasons why it marked me so much, So the way I discovered this movie is we had a movie night one night, like just randomly, and that's the night that I discovered that I can stream movies and watch it with other people. So when I did that, we just went through YouTube like on my screen, and one of the guys, Cody, he's like, "Hey, have you guys ever seen Something Strange? I never even heard of it." So we're like, "Sure, let's watch it." And we put in this movie, and within the first 3 minutes, there's necrophilia, incest, rape, and a golden shower. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is what we're watching. And it just fucking gets crazier and crazier. And all I could think of while we were watching it is, wow, I hope Joe and Todd haven't seen this, because this is going to be one that will be at least fun to review, because it gets just so fucking crazy. And yeah, I have so many notes of specific moments in this movie that just blew my mind. I rewatched it, for the review, and I watched it with my wife, and she was just like considering divorce. She's like, what the fuck? I'm seriously like afraid of you right now, like for liking this movie, because of how depraved and gross it is. And it is, but because of the way they play it off, it doesn't feel that way, because it's played for comedy. It's not played serious. There's not like this whole like mental abuse, and you're not really feeling that kind of stuff towards the characters. You're just kind of going along for the ride, and it just gets crazier and crazier, and really up to right to the end, because they introduce new elements to this movie near the end that you're like, whoa, okay, where did this come from? This was not a part of the plot, early on. So I can't wait to discuss some of the specific scenes in this. But yeah, it's a trip, and definitely one I'd recommend if you're going to watch it with your kind of more hardcore horror fans, because I think a non-horror base would absolutely be disgusted by this movie.
Yeah, Steve told Sam she should watch with me, and I'm so glad Sam did not watch with me, because Sam would have absolutely hated this movie. I know she would have.
Let's talk about the tampon eating scene. I was eating a sandwich at the time, and then the zombie picks up a tampon and eats it. And yeah, that's the type of film we're getting into. Not only did you have all the rape stuff we talked about, but they're also eating stuff like bloody tampons. There's a lot of scenes where guys are just pissing out blood. One of the reasons one of the main girls gets infected is because, okay, you can go pee outside. It's not hard. Like when you go into a public restroom and it's literally covered in fucking blood, you don't need to do the hover maneuver. Just go outside and pee on a tree. But this girl hovers over where the zombie just peed blood everywhere, and she falls. Of course, she's bare ass, and it gets infected through her butt or whatever. And then I don't know, where do you go from here? You want to go to the ass eating scene?
Oh, there are so many scenes we could pick from. But just speaking of that one scene in the bathroom, it was funny because my wife was like, "Why didn't she flush? Why did she wash her hands?" I'm like, it's coming back. These are not empty plot points. That floating tampon, it's coming back in a big way. It was just, yeah, it was weird.
Someone pees on the grass, and the fucking zombie finds the pee and licks it up. I just remember that. Ugh.
And the crazy thing is, it's not even just the zombies that are gross. If it was just the zombies that were gross because that's part of their mutation, that'd be one thing. But there's a scene at that, like right after that happens with the tampon, where one of the guys is sleeping in the car, and the other guy is like pulls his pants down and then like shits on his face with like fucking squirt shit. Like it's just,
I wrote that down. He sharted on
What
his
kind
face.
of I know, what kind of friend is that? Like, I mean, even as a prank, just the shit. Who fart? And I've never. I mean, that's quite an aggressive fart for shit. Like, did he mean to just fart in his face, or was it his intention to shit on his face as well?
If that was just a shart, that's a serious fucking problem, like health problem, man. That was a healthy stream of fucking diarrhea.
Oh shit! Yeah, it was. Fucking hit him right in the lip, and he didn't even wake up. Nothing. It was just like,
and it was there. It was just played off like, oh, whatever. Like, who cares? It's just normal. I actually wrote down a question for you guys. This is kind of a side note, but I was really curious. How bad does a toilet have to be for you not to take a dump at it?
If it's got any bodily fluids on it, I'm shitting in the woods.
I mean, being in construction, I've used porta potties quite a lot, and as long as there's not like shit on the seat, I guess, like even if there's pee like I'll get the hand sanitizer and like wipe it thoroughly and then like nest. I mean, I'm always nesting anyway in a porta potty. With the toilet.
Explain the nesting.
You make like a bird's nest like with
I've-
toilet paper. You put it all on top
I've never
of the
heard it.
toilet
I've
seat.
never heard that term.
Yeah. So you just, put a lot of toilet paper on the seat. So it's, make sure it's nice and, safe. But yeah, I mean, if there was pee, I could deal with it. Obviously, I'll just wipe it off. But I mean, I've been on porta potties where there's like literal like shit like smeared on the seat and stuff. And, I'm skipping to the next one or I'm taking a ride to a gas station or something.
I went to Italy one year in 2000, and I went to an event that had 2 million people at the event. So you can only imagine what 2 million people in one spot looks like. And I went to a porta potty, and I'm not even kidding you. I opened the door, and there was a mound of shit. So not only were people going up right up to the rim, but they were squatting over the fucking bowl and just adding to the dump. Oh my God. I'm like, I'll hold it for another day. I'm not.
Did you take a picture?
No, it was 2000. I had one of those.
I know you had a disposable.
I did, but I was out because I'd been
Steve, come on.
I'd been 2 weeks in Italy at that point, and I'd already used my 2 disposable cameras. I was out by the time. This was like the second to last day, I think, before I came back to Canada.
Dude, that's a missed opportunity, man. Now the world needs to see Shit Mountain.
Yeah, no,
Well,
they don't. They really don't.
Watch the Woodstock documentary. The porta potties like
Sure.
overflowed, and then it was like outside, and people were just like thought it was mud, and they were fucking just, like sliding in the fucking human shit and piss, thinking it's mud, and they're covering themselves in it to be like the mud people, and they're really just the shit people. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, so let's get to the motel, because a lot happens at the motel. Let's start with what's happening inside the room with the big guy, the girl, and the bully. So what do you guys think of that whole sequence?
Disgusting, man. Like, first of all, that young dude is like a sexual predator. Both of them, young dudes, are sexual predators in the making. The boyfriend's trying to pressure her and having sex, and she says no eventually, and he goes outside to jerk off into a dirty ass, what do you call them? Big ass trash can. Dumpster.
Yeah.
Then he knocks himself out, and then he wakes up and immediately starts jerking off again. But at this point, the girl turns into a zombie, and she calls. Let's remember, this is her cousin. Calls a cousin and says, "I want you to fuck me as hard as you can." He's like, "All right," and he starts having sex with her, and it's fucking. I just, it's the whole movie is just fucking dirty. It's just gross.
Yeah, it maybe like a little too dirty, like I mean, like this movie's like a little too sexual for me. Like, I mean, it was like the director was like ultra horny when he made it or whatever, and was just kind of getting like, I don't know, it was like he was super horny when he wrote the script or something like that, and then just like put it all on paper. And it works for the most part, like for laughs, but at times I'm like, okay, this is like really juvenile. Like, I feel like it was written by like a 12-year-old horny teenager. So, at times I think it waned on me a little bit, and that definitely is what knocks the score down, I think, a little bit for me. I mean, the guy ends up coming in and, and confuses his girlfriend for the guy and ends up fucking anally raping his friend, eating his ass, thinking it's his girlfriend's ass and thinking his ball sack is
No.
What?
Well, yeah, but don't forget, he's like, "You're a little dry. Let me warm you up or something." And then he started, and there's
like,
a
"You're a
peanut.
little-
I
you're a little dirty,
got the
baby."
line. I got the line if you want.
Oh God, here we go.
Well,
Sam's in the next room. I can't even imagine what she's thinking right now.
We're just watching porn at this point.
First, another line when the girl rejects the guy. He leaves the room and then he comes back into the room and he says, "Can I leave jerk off on your ass?"
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super sexually depraved. No,
Yeah.
but so when he's eating out the guy's ass, first he says, "Oh, some of your dinner slipped out of the lunchbox, and I like
God.
peanuts too."
That's so fucking gross, dude. Then he throws it across the room too, right?
Yep.
And it's in a dirty movie. That's a dirty scene, man. And then
Yes.
to go where Joe was going with it, he rapes him with he penetrates him with his penis, and
Yes, and he finishes and then falls asleep and then wakes up and proceeds to do it again.
Yeah.
And then gets stuck because the dude is dead. So like rigor mortis has like set in or whatever. So his dick is stuck inside this guy's butthole. And the rest of, and that plot point for the rest of the movie for that character is him trying to release himself
I can't.
from the
man.
gentleman's
I'm
butthole.
dropping this down a fucking half star.
And you know, and not only is it like it's bad, like when we describe it, but they make it uncomfortably fucking long. Like this is not a, you know, a 10-second scene. This fucking scene just takes forever, and you just get so uncomfortable watching it, and you're like, and it just gets worse and worse between the grunting and, you know, the eating ass, and then the noises, and then it's just, but it just goes on and on and on, and you're like, oh my god, where is this going?
So-
and yeah.
So for anyone that hasn't seen it either, like a lot of this sounds extremely disturbing, but you gotta like remember this is like trauma-esque like style. So it's like really over the top, ridiculous, played for comedy. So like it kind of works like in that sense, like some of the comedic timing like works. You know, some of it doesn't, but
Yeah. It's not I spit on your grave rape.
no.
Not that it's good in any sense, but you know, it's tonally, it's just
Right.
fucking stupid, but it's still
Yes, exactly.
And
about-
that's when the film just really picks up, right? That's just, and then there's like even a cop that comes
Just
in at
getting
one point,
started.
and out of nowhere, and he comes into the room, and he's like, they're like, the guy has to pretend that it's his boyfriend. It's a weird scene, but yeah, it was played for laughs for sure, because he has to like drag. At one point, you know, the big guy wakes up because he's a zombie, and he wants to get out of the room, but he still got the guy's dick stuck in him. So he like tries to bring him out the door, but the other guy doesn't want to like go outside in this position, so he gets broken in half,
Yes.
as you know, because he's still stuck to the ass.
He'd rather die
Yeah.
than die from embarrassment. I
Right.
guess. So yeah, he gets broken in half. We didn't even talk about the great caretaker of this hotel either, who is like the creepiest character ever. And I think, you know, he's just like super. Even he's like really creepy and sort of sexual too. At one point, like, what is some? I'm sure Steve wrote down some of his lines as well. Maybe I don't know.
Not really, but yeah, he just looks creepy without even acting. He looks creepy.
I mean, I just remember at one point there's like a bloody condom on the guy's back or something, and he's like, "You have a bloody hitchhiker on you," or something like that, and he fucking like peels it off him, and then he goes to throw it into the dumpster, and it goes over the dumpster and hits the guy in the face who's passed out. That was jerking off in the dumpster.
That's actually a whole other thing. So not only is he jerking off in the dumpster, but at one point he leans over and knocks himself out on the dumpster.
Yes.
And then he's out cold. He gets the bloody condom on his face. He wakes up, like kind of takes the bloody condom off himself, and then finishes he's on the ground. He wakes up and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna finish." So he jerks off for the. It's
Well,
just wow.
And then the motel guy, he's watching him too. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, he says something like, "I was wondering when you were gonna come," or something like that. It's like, what? But the cop gets gallons of jizz on him that melts him. So we got semen fucking toxin.
Yeah, because the main zombie, the guy who started this all, is like making his way around, and I guess his makeup actually is really good. The makeup actually effects in this are all really good. It's like mainly all practical effects in this movie, and most of the practical effects are actually really solid. That's the one positive thing I definitely could say about this movie. But yeah, he at one point, he just for whatever reason, like even after he's turned into a zombie, well, I guess like every zombie is like just super hypercharged sexual. It's almost like the Sadness, but ramp it up times 10. So like he just walks around and is jerking off like all the time, this one zombie, and then yeah, he at one point literally like comes probably, I would say, like think of like a 5-gallon bucket and like it just gets thrown on this cop, like massive buckets of semen, and he just it's acidic, and he that's how he goes.
So did they all have special powers, right? They all have like unique powers, because the
I guess
the woman that's at the store, hers is like green gas that comes out of
Yes,
like
her
you know,
vagina,
her
yes.
vagina. So
Mhm.
that's a whole other type of kill that happens in this movie, is her in fact like poisoning people with her green gas.
Right. Yes. And then we have our hero of the movie, which we haven't even mentioned
Right.
yet. He
Derek.
is he is
Stupid as fuck.
he's chilling at the hotel with this girl he wants to hook up with. You know, he just got out of the boot camp. It looks like he's not going to basically like a boot camp dropout essentially, but he ends up meeting up with one of the girls on the vacation, and the two of them kind of discover what's going on and try to fight off these zombies together. And more insanity ensues from there. I don't know where you guys want to go with the next crazy scene, but
I hated Dirk because they try to make him like cool one-liners.
one-liner, yeah.
And they're just terrible one-liners. And
Yeah,
I looked up his
I kind-
IMDb. And
I got a
it-
chuckle out of the one-liners though. They were like, because they were intentionally cheesy, right?
I know,
So
but
like,
they're still dumb.
they were dumb. They were dumb, yeah.
But he's had some roles in such hits like House Shark, Johnny Z, another one of this guy's thing. I'm kind of interested in House Shark, to be honest.
House Shark is
Uh,
also produced by this director, so
Is it really?
yeah, that's actually one that I'm gonna throw out for Shark Week this year, because
no.
I hear it's another like good bad one, you know, similar to Cruel Jaws that we reviewed 2 years ago, which is still one of my favorite reviews we've done on the show. So yeah, House
Hulk
Shark.
Hogan.
Yeah, oh man, I really want to find that guy. That's an interview we need. We need to track him down somehow.
We might need to get the director of this movie on.
All right.
Sure, he'd be easy to track down.
So where do we want to go next? Do we want to go with mouth vagina or a dick snake or a snake dick?
Let's do them both back to back.
Oh yeah, just
Start with Dickhead.
Yeah, so all of a sudden one guy's dick becomes a fucking snake and just starts attacking people out of nowhere. And it's crazy. And it's just like, wow, where did this come from?
Whose dick is it that turns into the snake?
Isn't it like
Which
the
character?
mailman, or it's like one
Oh
of the
yeah,
other-
there's like a mailman that comes
Yeah.
out of nowhere. That's right.
Yeah, because he got like hurt at the beginning of the film, and when the mom who's infected comes out of the house, she's like shit dripping from her vagina and goes into his mouth. Because of course, yeah.
Yes, how could we forget that pivotal scene?
Right, exactly.
Vaginal drip.
Well, it came back at the end, so yeah. So you got a snake dick, and then you have the girl who
the coup de grace, really.
yeah, exactly. And then she opens up her panties, and her vagina is exposed, and it opens up, and it's got a little mouth, and it says "fuck me," and then a rope comes out of it, which is like a tentacle, I guess.
Mhm.
And then the guy like kills it and says, "You've been fucked." So
He sticks a gun up there, doesn't he?
yeah,
and
wow,
shoots.
like damn, like I was just like, this, wow, we haven't seen everything. Like at this point, with all the shit we've seen, it's still going with these new elements. It made me laugh
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah, well, and we didn't like the way to kill these zombies too is you shoot them in the genitals. Like rather than shoot them in the brain, you gotta shoot them in the other brain is how they describe it in the movie. And yeah, that's how you take down these zombies in this world. Did you guys like that idea?
I mean, it's unique, right? It makes sense for this world. And
Right.
not only that, but for that girl, they rip out her ovaries at one point and throw them
That's
away,
right.
and her ovaries start talking.
That's right.
They have little mouths, but then they get like smushed by the car. But
I can see Todd's just rating continually,
Yeah.
like in his brain, just skyrocketing down the more we're talking about it.
It dropped already. I was like, "Yeesh."
But it's like describing it is one thing, but watching it's a different thing.
I
know?
agree.
It's so
agree.
funny when you watch it, but describing you're like, God damn, this is bad.
Yeah,
But
you
watching
this is
it,
one
I
you
find-
definitely gotta watch. Yeah.
I watched it twice this year, like in 2023, and it's a fun watch, you know. And that's not even the end of it. So you all this, we got dick snake, we got the mouth, we got all that stuff, and you think this has got to fucking be it. No, all of a sudden they introduce this completely new plot out of nowhere, where the caretaker has like a cannibal family that he brings the two main characters to, and you're like, holy fuck, now all of a sudden this is fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it's like the weirdest thing out of nowhere. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I
Family's
knew
wearing,
there was
like,
something
clown
up with him.
masks and shit.
Yeah. I knew there's something up with the caretaker, obviously, but I didn't know if it was going to be like he was going to be the good guy in the end, or he's going to be like the ultimate bad guy. And he should end up being a weird creep with this creepy family that out of nowhere, just so out of place. But it made me laugh again because it was so fucking out of place.
Yeah, agreed. I don't even know, how do they even get away from him? I kind of forget.
The original zombie comes in and attacks and
That's
kills
right.
them, and then
Okay.
they manage to escape.
Yeah. And that's basically how it ends. And it seems like this outbreak has started like to spread over the rest of the country. And our hero character is gonna go and I guess take it down, and hopefully a potential sequel. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not at this point. Nice. He's doing cons.
Yeah, apparently the Dirk character and the zombie do cons, so that's cool.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I'd meet him for a certain price.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then at the end, just to wrap it all together, they finally escape all the situations and stuff like that, and they kind of go into a field, and the girl turns out that she had been like bit or infected somehow, so she's starting to turn, and she gets killed, which prompts she gets killed by the hillbillies, right? Is that who kills? I think, yeah. So the hillbillies from the beginning of the film come back at the end and kill the girl, and then the guy runs away and he gets killed. End of movie.
That's right. He gets hit by the car, right?
Everyone dies.
Yeah.
Except for Ugh. Well,
That was
it's
quite a review.
the movie.
I mean,
Quite the
that's
movie.
that's why I didn't watch it, because it's a great film. Like
Right.
I knew it was a bad film, but I wanted to review it because I thought it was so crazy that we have to put this on forever. Put it down our thoughts.
Sure. Yeah. All right. I'll start us off with rating, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, this movie is absolutely bonkers, if you didn't know already by listening to this review. And yeah, I mean, it's a compliment, I guess, that they were able to put so much crazy shit onto film. If you're into trauma movies, you'll love this probably. If you're not into trauma movies, you'll fucking hate this movie. It's low budget, it's badly acted. So you got to know what you're getting into here, obviously. But I did have, I will say I thought the first 30 minutes was a bit of a chore to get through. I was really, like I said, cursing out Steve there, but I think it does get better as it goes. And at the end of the day, I had fun watching this. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's pretty fun. I give this 3 stars, but that's based on a trauma rating scale. If we're talking a normal scale, my rating would be a lot different, but on that type of scale, I give it 3 stars. Like I said, the best way to watch is with the crowd for sure.
Yeah, I am thrilled that a filmmaker was able to, probably, judging by this movie, get every single thing he wanted in this film done. Because he wasn't ham-fisted, he wasn't fucking handcuffed, or what do you want to say, but yeah, it was ambitious. It had a lot of good gore, a lot of cool effects and stuff like that. Is it something I'll watch again? Not unless I have to. And I'll leave it at a 3 out of 5. It was at a 3.5, but I dropped it down to half because I was thinking about it and But it's a solid, weird movie.
Yeah, this definitely falls into the category of it's so crazy and so bad that I liked it. And I really liked it. Now, I watched it the first time with a group of horror fans who like the same shit as me. So my score initially when I first saw it was a 4-star, because that experience of watching it with others was so fun. We laughed so much during that review, and just how crazy it got, and making commentary about all the different crazy moments. But alone, I'd say it's a 3.5. But in a group, it was a 4. So I would recommend watching it with a like-minded group. But alone, it's still something I think people should at least check out once. But be warned, keep it to people who love horror, not people who don't, because wow, it's crazy. Which one do you think is crazier, this one or Greasy Strangler?
I would say this. I mean, Grease Strangler is quirky, whereas this is just fucking over the top, just sexually depraved and just talking. It's just outrageous, So, I mean, I think Grease Strangler's like actually like a good movie. Like it's well made and well put together, even though it's quirky. Whereas this one is just not like a well made movie, but it's just crazy and it's fun for that reason.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Greasy. I mean, Greasy's my top 10 of that decade. I love it legitimately, not because it's bad, because it's good. Slash has all these shocking things in it. So yeah, definitely Greasy.
Yeah, it's close though. Greasy's got some pretty depraved moments too. A lot of dick. There's some hardcore fucking in Greasy that comes out of nowhere. There's a lot of gross stuff too. It's different though. This one was more of a low budget, whereas Greasy Strangler felt more of a well made, like almost festival film. I hate to say, but if you want to watch Greasy and find out for yourself, like I said, join us on our movie club this month where we will watch it all together, and it'll be a good time. All you have to do is join our Discord. So, there you go.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, that will wrap up maybe the most interesting review we've ever had in this show's history, I would say. It's definitely up there. And I cannot wait for everyone, all the feedback over on our Discord. Obviously, Discord, definitely the best way to keep up with the podcast. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, The Horror Squad Podcast. You can email us at any time, thehorrorsquadpodcast@gmail.com. Next week, we are doing Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so next week we're doing Wes Craven's New Nightmare in anticipation, I guess I can announce this now, of our retrospective series. Yes, folks, we are bringing back retrospective series after a long time. We did Stuart Gordon a couple years ago. We decided this year we are going to be doing a Wes Craven retrospective series some point in the year. Obviously, we got a lot of movies to watch, but we're going to do Wes Craven's New Nightmare to start us off with that, and then do a whole breakdown at some point before the end of the year. So stick around for that. And yeah, movie club this Friday. And I think that's about it. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.